Hindu school of what later came to be known as the University of Calcutta. Kedranal became the student of Ishwara Chandra Vidyasagar, a reputed scholar and the author of Samagra Vyakarana Kaumudi. That year, university was started and classes were held in the Presidency College. The senior classes of the Hindu school were held in the West Wing. Sanskrit College was in the middle section, and junior classes were held in the East Wing. Kedranal began to write poetry for which he was much respected and praised, and which gradually came to the attention of the principal. An Englishman named George Thompson, a former member of parliament, taught him the act of oratory. Mr. Thompson told Kedranal that he used to deliver lectures to the cornfields on his way from his house to parliament, pretending that the plants were the members of parliament. He would speak freely to them, and in this way had become an expert and pleasing speaker. Very, very amazing. Kedranal also pursued his studies privately by spending time at libraries like Metcalfe Hall and being tutored by the Christian missionaries. Like the six Goswamis, he didn't study only all literature. He studied Bible, he studied Quran, and he has knowledge about other languages, preparing for his Krishna consciousness. Kedranal's friend Sri Taraknath Palit, who bore the expenses for establishing the science college, invited him to speak at the British Indian Society, which many pro-British Zamindars and Europeans attended. Kedranal was invited to become a member, and he eventually gave a lecture there concerning the evolution of matter through the material mode of goodness. At the end of 1856, he had completed part 1 of the Purayat, which was an account in epic verse form of the wanderings of Purus, who fought Alexander the Great in the Christian era. It was well received by his teachers. We see the continuing thread of existential questioning appearing in the pages of his epic, when Purus, the hero, shoots a deer and then begins to feel the sorrow inherent in material life. Now sad reflection cloud his mental realm, and questions pass our thought his heart, all overwhelming. From whom is life, and whence this frame of man? What mighty power has formed this mighty plan? Why live we here, and why desire and feel? For what we tend with time's revolving wheel. I eat, I live, and sleep, and spend the day, but never think of this. My life is gay. From this awakening hour, I let my eyes select my way, led by the guiding skies. This day I live my ever gorgeous best, to visit lands extending in the west. Ye woods, be witness. I my country live, and I come not back until my end achieve. Revered Duke instructed him in the works of melting at this time. At the house of a missionary, he read the works of Khalid, Hazlitt, and others. His poems were published in a literary gazette. Some of his classmates called him Mr. ABC. He also studied the Quran and the works of Theodore Parker, Channing, and Newman. Kedranath decided to go to Ulaha to visit his family. Spending a night with his in-laws, he left the boat for his home, by boat for his home. There was a great storm that night, but somehow he reached the ghat at Ula safely. The next day, by the grace of God, we received a landing. So we reached the landing at Ula without mishap. In the late evening, in the month of Aswin, the light of the moon was very splendid there. Prior to that evening, I had received no news of Ula. That year, there was a fearful epidemic in the village of Ula. The family of Mahesh Dada had come to Calcutta in the month of Bhadra because they were ill, but had not said anything to me. Upon disembarking, I saw some people who, being mad with the happiness which comes from homelessness, were laughing and joking. The village was empty, as they were under the influence of ganja marijuana. They perceived no suffering. I questioned them, but they gave no answers. My friend and I were amazed by the sight of them. Departing from the boat, we went to the house of Madhusudan. When we looked through the door, we saw Madhusudan Vasu sitting on a low wooden seat. I paid respect to him, and he addressed me saying, "Oh Kedar, stay here for the rest of the day. Go to the house in the morning." There had been an outbreak of cholera, and many persons have died. Generally, within 4 or 5 hours, our symptoms were there had been an outbreak of cholera, and many persons had died. Generally, within 4 or 5 hours of symptoms first appeared. The words of the mystic Guru had come true. Hearing this on his arrival, Kedranath wanted to proceed to his house to know the situation fully. When he arrived, he learned that his sister had died. His mother and paternal grandmother were there, in great distress. And his mother, though recovering, had been delirious for many days. Ola was the scene of great disaster. Hundreds had died. Some of the villagers were blaming the epidemic on the tantric brahmachari whom Kedranath used to visit. They foolishly theorized that a goat which he had freed to take the fever out of the village had actually spread it. Taking his mother and grandmother in a boat, Kedranath proceeded to Ranagat, the home of his wife, and had the news that she had also been ill but was recovering. The Thakura recalls, the day before we departed, I went to many places in Olagram, in a great rumor of homes, in a great number of homes, there were no people left alive. At some homes, there was heard the cry of pain of those who were sick. At some homes, there were bodies lying around. At other homes, there was little life. Some of the survivors were making preparations to leave Ula. Many had already left. It was the time of Durga Puja, but there was no happiness anywhere. Staying at the house of his uncle, Kali Krishna, in Calcutta, Kedranath cared for his mother and grandmother. Times were difficult. He had no money, and there were great hardships. He tried to take the college entrance examination, but he was unable to prepare properly in an atmosphere of anxiety about his family members. Then he began to get recurrent fevers, which were finally cured by his taking quinine. Although suffering from financial deprivation and recurrent illness, Kedranath did not reveal his troubles to others. He continued to meet with his friends, especially Dwijendranath Tagore. At that time, he read many books with his friends on the science of God and religion, including Sanskrit books, as well as Western philosophers like Kant, Goethe, Hegel, Swedenborg, Hume, Schopenhauer, Voltaire, etc. He is simply preparing for his work. By reading all these books, just like the Sri Goswamis, they study all the books. The reason they are studying all the books, it may look material, because all these books, all these people here, they are all materialistic literature writers. None of them is Krishna conscious. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura, I read all of them. And Quran and Bible, he read all. So in his teachings, he will know how to speak to Christians, he will know how to speak to Muslims, he will know how to speak to Karimis, philosophers, he will know how to speak with them in such a way that they cannot defend. So he's preparing for his duty. He's going to do for Krishna consciousness movement. He had prepared himself, and he took all the trouble to read all the books, and then he wrote so many books, so many. A lot of commentaries. He had commentaries about Gita. We use his commentary on Sri Upanishad for teaching. I use his commentary for teaching Sri Upanishad. He has commentary. Very nice. Very nice. Yes. It's different from those who have come to Krishna consciousness and then they are going back to school to go and study to come back to Krishna consciousness. It's different. That is Maya. A devotee should who did this, from my experience, their devotion is not stable, it's shaky. In fact, some of them have become speculators. Because you get their consciousness of people they associate with, but pure devotees, like this one you said, the Paramahamsa, he knows how to take a little honey from everything. From everything you can take honey. Only the essence you take from different things. So when they study these books, they will take something. They are not contaminated by it, but they will take something. They support their Krishna consciousness and present it in such a way that people can identify with it easily. The morning we say he's a liberal devotee. How he presented Krishna consciousness, no one can have difficulty following it. That requires a high level of maturity to be able to present the Krishna consciousness in such a way that it's not diluted, but it is put in such a way that people can easily follow it. Bhaktivinoda Thakura, he did that. He has commented in so many books. And he trained his own son the same way, Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati. He trained him in the same way. As he's editing and writing at a young age, he's doing this. The same thing happened to his son, Bhaktivinoda Saraswati. He was also editing his own book. At the age of 7. Bhaktivinoda Saraswati editing Bhaktivinoda Thakura's book. It's like father, like son. An Indian, he gave a philosophical discourse to the British Indian society, which was taught very deep by the Englishmen present. Yet, a teacher of Kedarnath's, Mr. Dar, raised a question which Kedarnath took seriously. How will the acquisition of such knowledge benefit mankind? At another meeting of the British Indian Society, Kedarnath recited the 25 stories of the Vedanta in Vetala, a type of ghost that inhabit corpses, which he had translated from the Vetala Pancha Samsati of Somadev in the form of a play in English. His recitation was followed by a great debate, and from that day, his contemporaries began to broadcast his glories as a logician. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a young scholar, he received a similar reputation as a master of Jnana or logic, and was thus known as Nimai Pandit. No one in the Vaishnava assembly at the meeting of Advaita Acharya and Srivas Pandit had any notion that he would prove to be the greatest Vaishnava. Such was the case with Kedarnath. As a logician, no one could defeat him, but this was not his true glory. The time for his manifesting his actual glories was yet to come. Just as the exalted position of his divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhu was not fully revealed until later in his life, when the time, place, and circumstances were appropriate, and Krishna utilized him for the purpose for which he brought him to the world. Kedarnath was fascinated by theism, and he spent his time studying the Bible, the Quran, and the works of Parker and Newman. He developed deep faith in Jesus Christ. Whatever he read, he discussed with Dwijendranath. The Sopi Mutini occurred at this time. He read the newspaper every evening in the Tagore's parlor and learned the news before it was published by hearing the many discussions that took place there. The Thakura does not dwell upon the uprising in his autography, but there was much discussion and agitation in Calcutta's intellectual circles at that time, as many of the sepoy rebels were Bengali soldiers. Calcutta also served as a haven for both British and Indians who fled the horrors of the rebellion. The background of the mutiny was that the British, through their aggressive annexations, their construction of intimidating public works, their vigorous promotion of British-style education, their contempt for the traditions of casteism and other ancient customs, and above all, their all too common disdain for the Indians as a race, were igniting feelings of resentment among large sections of the Indian people. A contemporarily educated Indian critic declared, "The British government professes to educate the natives to an equality with the Europeans, an object worthy of the age and the Britain. But if Englishmen, after educating the natives to be their equals, continue to treat them as their inferiors, if they deny the stimulus to honorable ambition, and show the natives that there is a barrier over which superior native merit and ambition can never hope to pass, are they not in effect on doing all that they have done, on teaching the native all that he has been taught, and pursuing a societal policy which will inevitably array all the talent, honor, and intelligence of the country, ultimately in irreconcilable hostility to the ruling power?" This analysis later proved to be correct. The sepoys mutiny stemmed from a multiplicity of underlying currents of dissatisfaction and fears, some groundless, some decidedly not. But the spark that ignited a great mutiny, sepoy rebellion, was the introduction of the Enfield rifle. The Indian sepoy soldiers were expected to bite open an end of cartridges, which were rumored to be coated with beef and pork fat. This greatly offended both the Hindus and the Muslims. When 85 Indian soldiers in Meerut were publicly dishonored and sentenced to 10 years imprisonment for refusing to use the cartridges, there was open and murderous rebellion. 3 sepoy regiments revolted, killed their British officers and their families, who chanced to be on their way to church and headed for Delhi. The revolt spread, and Delhi, Lucknow, and Kanpur fell to the rebels, who massacred every European they could lay hands on. However, by March of 1858, reconquest by the British and those Indian regiments that remained loyal was complete. During this period of turmoil, there was much savagery on both sides, and ultimately unexcusable act of revenge. Some reforms followed, however, with some genuine attempt to assuage Indian sentiment, and the of power was made from the East Indian Company to the British Crown. Visiting Burdwan, Kedranath got the opportunity to stay with the king, Maharaj Pratap Chandra, at the time of Dola Yatra. He presented the king with a copy of his forehead, and the king read part of it and liked it very much. Kedranath returned to Calcutta with many ambitions, but no money or help were available to him. He recalls, upon returning from Budwan, I saw that my maternal grandmother was bedridden at Uncle Kali's house. I was thinking many things, such as I will study, I will make money, I will print books, I will lecture in many places, I will get somewhere. Where? My mother and grandmother and my wife can all live together. But there was no money, no help. Everyone was calculating, considered outsider. No one made even a little effort to help. He was then persuaded against his better judgment to go on an excursion by rail. Upon returning, I was put to shame. I was thinking of enjoying an excursion, but what was the condition of my grandmother? That I did not know. When I returned to Kali Kaka's house in the afternoon, I saw mother calling me from the doorway. Go at once to the ghat on the Ganga. Your uncle Kali took your grandmother there. I was wearing only one piece of cloth, but I went swiftly to Nimatar Ghat. There I saw my grandmother, and Kali Kaka was performing Antarjali final ablutions. Her final suffering was unbearable, and thus there was much benefit for her in dying. When I lived in Ola, she was very good to me. I read Kali, Kaivalya, Daimi, and other books with her. You could not find a woman who was as frugal as she, and who will pay such painstaking attention to details. She will make various kinds of dishes and sweet. What she knew of the culinary art, no others knew. So this is the life of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Before we came to know him as Bhaktivinoda Thakura, he has lived a similar life that we have lived, but there is a difference. In the morning we mentioned that this devotee they came here to play the part to show us that whatever experience we are having, they had it all, and how did they deal with it to become what they are is the main reason why they are doing all this, so we can follow. Otherwise, one would think that Krishna consciousness is meant for certain class of people. Not for me, my case is different, so I cannot be a devotee. But they have lived all completely, so we can learn from them. And nothing we are seeing which is new, and nothing will be new. But we have to follow them and learn how they maintain their stability amidst all the challenges they had in their life and became successful. So they came to teach us, and they are teaching us by their own practical life. So we can pray to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura to help us be a very good devotee. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura ki jai. Yes.
Thank you, Swami. Really, my question is, you just mentioned lastly now that we should see what they have done and try to emulate this. The reasons why they were living this way, so that we the ordinary jivas, we can understand that, and still follow. But my confusion is, all of them took to the path of materialism, like material life. You find out that his son, who never got married, he followed the strict life of brahmachari.
Yes.
And then you find out that, okay, after him also, his own disciple, who was Prabhupada himself, also got married, had a material life, and was living the same way also. So how do you merge the two? Like, is it that at some point, or for some people, they are supposed to they are meant for that strict life, and then for some they have to go through all the whole material process, do work, do money, get married.
In Krishna consciousness is a balanced life. Balanced life. There's nothing which is missing. You find everything in one place. Those who are Nastika, like Srila Bhaktivinoda Saraswati, is available. They also find those who also took the path gradually, being right from the beginning, passing through the normal life, and come to the last stage. We are all complete here. So it depends on who we are and what is our interest in Krishna consciousness. That's what it is. So we can take a part which is conducive for our nature. So we can take that part. If we are for Bhaktivinoda Saraswati, you can take. For Bhaktivinoda Thakura, you can take. You want to be a big scholar, but devoted, you can take. They're all Bhaktivedanttas. All of them are Bhaktivedanttas. And we have people who also have the intelligence they have, but they're not devotees. And we have people also who have the intelligence they have, but they are not sure what to do with their life. Yes. All that complete. We have they have the knowledge, they don't know what they're doing. They are speculators. They are speculating. But you see, all of them, look at the life they live, look at the knowledge they have, look at their life. But you also see at the same time the Krishna consciousness was just going on. Bhaktivinoda Thakura, what is his teaching? In Saranagati he said, do everything you are doing. In Saranagati, do everything you are doing for Aunt Krishna to eat. You're not encouraging? Just Aunt Krishna to eat. And make sure that you do both of them together. Don't minimize any of them. For example, you say, you should have money so that I don't become money conscious. This is his teaching. And the money we're saying, this is a liberal preacher, a liberal teacher. You should have money so you don't become money conscious. You don't have money, you want to chant japa. It's money you're going to chant, and not japa. So if you have money, so you don't become. He has everything, but what is his consciousness? My wife, my children, my house, all my properties, they are your properties and your children. I am a caretaker. He said like this, but he was not negligent. He was not whimsical.
Yes.
He said like this, but he was very, very responsible. He never tell his wife, you are not a body, don't ask me for sari. He never tell his wife like that. He was taking care. But he's a caretaker. A caretaker does not claim proprietorship over the possession we have. At the same time, he's not negligent of it. That is life he lived, and that is his teaching. It's balanced. You should have a balanced life. That is also confirmed in the Srila Upanishad. If we don't have balanced life, we have difficulty. we'll be practicing with a fear. Maybe I'm missing something. So you have a balanced life. We know exactly, you know exactly what you're doing. So one feels secure in Krishna consciousness. Whatever is your association, you are a householder, you are a sannyasi, you are a brahmachari, you are a pastor, you have money, you don't have money, you have possession, you have possession. Whatever your situation, just chant Govinda. Govinda.
Govinda.
Bhaktivinoda Thakura teaching, this is Saranagati. Yes.
So, Maharaj, the same way, in addition to his question, we look at Prabhupada, his children.
Yes.
You know, we are told that one of them, maybe you're just one,
Yes.
is following. So that also shows. We are told that even Prabhupada said that the potential of the movement will be seen in the children of their children. He was telling his disciples.
Yes.
Then we are also told that somebody who is at that level will bring souls. We are told how to bring souls that are of high level.
Yes.
And then we see examples that are not like the kind of example we want to show to the world.
Yes.
So I think the importance of that, it shows how, not everything will come out the way maybe we expect. We could call that failures, not good examples that we want to copy. So,
it's not a failure for Prabhupada. Not only Prabhupada, even Advaita Acharya, is Lord Vishnu. Only 3 of his children are devotees. The remainder are not devotees. They may be devotees. They hated Nityananda Prabhu, Chaitanya Prabhu. They have deep hatred for them. As soon as Advaita Acharya left, they carried his Sargam Sila he used to worship to drink Chaitanya. He carried them and left with a different village. If you go to Santipu, in Advaita Acharya's house, his Sargam Sila is not there. Out of annoyance, anger, they took it away. So when I'm going for Santipu program, I'll first go there to the village before I'll go to his house for the program. This year the same thing I did. I always go there. So what is happening? What is happening? You're teaching, you should do Gavardhan Samskara, so the children become devotees. But here, our own Acharya, who is teaching this, his own children are not devotees. And Lord Advaita Acharya, his own children are not devotees. So, what do we see? How can we explain this? I just explained a few days ago. This is one of the controversies. So, dilemma. People don't have. People like. It's not discussed. It's not discussed, and it's just silent, but it is there in the mind. People are worried about this. People are sincere, they may ask a question. People are not sincere, they keep it, but it's a problem, it's a challenge in the mind. So the answer is, first of all, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, text 17 or 27, check on it. Lord Krishna said the intricacy of karma is very difficult, even for sages to understand. 27?
14?
4, chapter 4,
Okay, 4.
text 27. Karma is very, very difficult to understand. So difficult, even sages have difficulty to understand it. See?
It's not 427. It's not 427.
I said chapter 4, I didn't say chapter 14.
427, right?
Yeah.
I think this is different.
It's 4 what?
It's 427, but I don't think it's the one you just mentioned.
Okay, maybe 17. I said 27, you said no. You see?
That's 417.
Yes,
The
it's
implications
417.
of action are very hard to understand.
Yes. I first said 17, then again I went to 27. the increases of action are very hard to understand. Therefore, one should know properly what action is, what forbidden action is, and what action is. So how do you understand that? The intricacies of karma is very difficult to understand. How do you understand this? In the Srimad Bhagavatam, we have had commonly 6 children of Devaki were killed by her own brother, right? What is behind? Chaitanya was telling this past time. The one devotee who was thinking of he was thinking of Chaitanya Prabhu to be. He was having difficulty understanding Chaitanya Prabhu to be a sannyasi. He having difficulty. He left Navadvip and went to Jagannath Puri to go and see Chaitanya Prabhu to complain. This Navaduta, he's there in Navadvip, and they called him Navadut. This is Swami. But I don't see anything sannyasi in his life. I don't see. Everything forbidden by Swami, that is what you see in him. And the worst of it all, his danda is iron. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu narrated this story. When the 6 children originally were Brahma's children, they laughed at Brahma when he was run after his daughter for sex. That offense, they fell down and became demons. And for millions of lifetimes in Hiranyakashipu's family, demons. Other families are demons. Then eventually, they came to Devaki and Vasudeva. And even though they came so close to devotee family, they were killed. That was the last suffering for them. So when Krishna came back to Mathura and sucked the breast of Devaki, and it became Mahaprasad. Devaki requested, I heard you brought your teacher's son, can you do the same for me? I want my children back also. So Krishna and Balaram went and brought the children. When Krishna and Balaram brought the 6 brothers, senior brothers, then they came back also as babies, not as big men. They came back as babies after sucking the breast from the Devaki. Then they regained their original position and they became devotee. So the souls who have come to a proper family, they are beginning their fortune now. Their fortune is that they have come in the family of devotees. This lifetime they're not devotees. The next life they become devotees. That you will not see. That's what is happening. That now their fortune has started. That they have come now. Like these children, even though they took birth in devotee family, they didn't become devotees. And also they didn't get free from their karma. Until after that. After they sucked the breast, before they regained, they were able to completely be freed from their karma. The next birth, they regain their consciousness, became devotee. The same thing. Now they have come to meet Prabhupada, their fortune has been created. The next birth, they become devotee. So we don't see that, we only see the present. That is the answer to this. It makes sense? Yes. So it's just more than the sentence. It's more than that. It's really a fortune. And karma is heavy. Karma is heavy.
So we can't really not blame any person for not living according to his Sparta standards. So one could do the best, but then he may attract those that are not very advanced. You see families where people say, oh, he's a devotee, but none of his children are following. And people are like, it's like blaming the person, but blaming the parents for not, making their children devotees. So really, I don't think, that mindset of trying to blame people for, what is, we may not say direct responsibilities of theirs. Looking at this example, Prabhupada had people who came but very devotees. So, not to talk about some persons, lower level, who are practicing, but their children are not following.
There is karma there. There is karma there. Yes. What is the karma? There is nothing that happens without a cause. There is karma inside. You see, all of us, deep in our mind, we have prepared a child different from the children we have now. Right? We wanted a child different. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakura's children were not imposed on him, but our children are imposed on us. Peter Maharaj children were not imposed on them. They were selected. So we should learn how to select our children. There is an extreme case that it has to come in that way. That's a different thing. But there's also a normal situation that things will go that way. And a lady came to me, Maharaj, I'm pregnant, bless my child to be devotee. I say it is late.
But if in the end the child becomes a devotee,
how will he become a devotee? I told you it's late. You're supposed to have told me first. Because governance samskara, it doesn't begin when the child is there. It begins before the child comes inside. King Brenda was changed. King Brenda was reformed. Kamsa was reformed. Because they're already Rakshasa, so you cannot reform that. Yes. So it depends on the children we are inviting. So we should do the right thing. But we do the right thing. If we do the right thing and we get a different result, then we should take it as it is. And if we act whimsically, we should not be surprised. We should be surprised the result we get. Prabhupada mentioned that children in Kali Yuga, they are not human beings because there's no proper combination of the boy and the girl and no Garbham Samskara. And some devotees challenge me, yes, I did Samskara, but my child was an devotee. I say, who did this Samskara? Which priest? The priest who did it is greedy. Greedy. If the priest who did the Samskara for you is greedy, you don't get it. The priest will not do it for money. Krishna said, Krishna told his father, call Brahmanas who never tell lie to chant mantra for this ceremony. Because their blessings work automatically. Any blessing they give it, Brahmana who is not interested in someone's property, Brahman who is greedy, the blessing doesn't work. I say it's a Brahmana, but what kind of Brahmana is it? Greedy Brahmana. So you have the same thing. So we should diligently follow the system nicely and then take the result. It works nicely. Alright? Makes sense? Yeah, thank you.
Apart from this situation whereby people who seemingly like leaders or religious who are religious.
Mm.
Most cases, sometimes, in most cases, even both here and outside,
Mm.
their offspring sometimes don't follow their path. It's just a common thing. So, like we said, the intricacies of karma is really difficult to understand.
Yeah.
So, but generally, Maharaj, from the likes of Bhaktivinoda, Bhaktisiddhanta, Prabhupada, there are so many lessons apart from this
Yeah.
to learn. The thing is that we have to know that we are not getting anything on a platter of gold. We are not going to get anything on a platter of gold. It's spiritual life. And we actually, we are not expected to get them on a platter of gold, but we actually, presently, we are getting everything on a platter of gold if you compare it to their own lives, their sufferings. The sufferings they went through, even Srila Prabhupada. If we went through that, many of us would just carry our bag and go. To some extent. Then Bhakti, the same thing. So they are teaching us that we must be prepared for both good and bad. And we must be determined and focused on Krishna. Determination, we see it in their lives. Both of
Yes.
them. They were determined and their goal is Krishna. So in the end, they are successful. Even though they came late. But, so they are all lessons for us to
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So the Bhaktivinoda Thakura ki.
Yeah.
It's such another Bhaktivinoda Thakura ki. This is Goswami of Vrindavan, the Bhaktivinoda Thakura ki. The 70 Goswami. Yes. Yes. The seventh one.
I think that is the title of that book.
Yes. The 70 Goswami.
Very wonderful book.
Everything.
The way you say it. The way you say it.